Hello everyone, my name is Fumilayo from Bed Media and I welcome you to day 17 of the Python Programming Challenge. It's day 17. And what is our topic for today, you might ask? Built-in functions. Today I would show you some commonly used built-in functions and how you can use them in your Python code. Are you excited? I'm excited too. Let's go. It's day 17. Day 17 of our 100 days Python programming challenge. So today we'll be talking about built-in function. Built-in functions make it easier. They're a set of functions that are always available without you needing to import additional module. It's not like pandas and numpy that you have to first import them. And this function allows you to perform a wide range of common tasks, and it helps you save time, it helps you write efficient code, and I would show you some examples of built-in functions. The first one is the print function. The function just allows you to output any text or data into your console. Or so we have the first one, we're trying to print hello world, or we're trying to print the sum of 3 and 5. It is as simple as just writing print. You do not have to import print. You just write print and it prints out whatever you have in the parentheses. So let's run this. See, it prints out whatever we have. It prints out our output. And next we have our input function. This input function allows you to take a user input. So if you want a detailed video on the input function, you can check the playlist. We have one available. So an example of input function is this. By just writing, you can start to see some similarities. You see, we have the print, and then we have like our parentheses, and then we have the text or what we wanted to do inside it. The same with input. We have our input, we have our parentheses, and then we have whatever we want to ask it to do. So then when we run this, you see it brings out the input. So input is literally taking the user input. So I write my name, which is Fumilayo, and then I click on enter, and then you see hello Fumilayo. You can see in this screen we are concatenating. If you want to learn more about this, then you should check out our string video. Next we have length. Length function returns the length of numbers in a string, in list, or in a tuple. So length is as easy as it sounds. So let me type a string, for example. A string. So we have Python. And then if I want to print out, I'm going to put length. And then what I want to print out. So what I'm literally just asking is to calculate the number of items, the number of characters that are in name. And you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when I run this, we get 6. The next built-in function that we are looking at is type. So there are times that you would have like a variable and you want to know what data type that variable is. For example, let's use this, the same that we used for length. Let's use it. And in this case, instead of length, we'll use type because we want to know what type of data, what is the data type for Python. And you run it, you see we get that it is a string. But what if it's not a string? What if it's a number, for example? If it's an integer. So let's say we have 120, and then when we run it, we get int because it is not a string anymore. It is now an integer. The next thing that we'll look at is int, float, and string. This allows you to convert data type. So type allows you to determine what data type that is, but int, float allows you to convert it. So imagine you have a string and you want to convert it to an integer. You would use the int. If you want to convert a value to a floating point, or you want to convert a value to a string, you use either float or string. So if I run this, you see this. So now I want putting this in. So no matter what you enter, it's going to convert it into an integer. So you can enter the number. You can be able to add 5 to the age, and again you can also convert it back to a string. Let's try it out. So your age is 18, you click on enter, and you see now it becomes a string. Here it is an integer, and here it is a string. So we're converting it into an integer, so we'll be able to add it, because whatever your input, it automatically like assumes it is a string. But this int converts your input to an integer, and then you can add 5 to it, then you get 25. And then you want to print out your result as fully a string. You then convert it into a string, and then you can concatenate it into your string. So you have your age is equal to 18. So int, float, and string allows you to convert value to an integer, a value to a floating point, or allows you to convert a value to a string. Next, we have sum. Imagine you have a list of numbers and you want to determine the sum of all the values of the list or tuple. You can just use sum. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know this is not so much numbers, but there are times you will have a lot of numbers that you have to sum up. So instead of breaking it down, you're using a calculator, you can just use the sum function, and it returns you the total sum of what you have in either your list or your tuple. Next, we have max and min. The max returns the largest number in your iterable, and min returns the smallest number. So let's still use the same one. And then what I would do is change the sum to max. If I change this to max and then I run it, it gives me the largest number in my list. And then if I change it to min, it will give me the smallest number in my list. So in case you have lots of data and you want to determine the maximum and the minimum number, you just use the max or the min function. And then we have the sorted function. So sorted allows you to sort. If you have different numbers in a list and you want to sort it in ascending order. So this is an example of a list. So you see that our numbers are not properly sorted. It's always 1, 2, 5, 5, 9, 6, 9. So now I want to sort this. So you will use the same sorted function, and then when you run this, you have your sorted number. So this is how you use sorted, by just adding sorted and then the name of your variable, or even without even using the name of your variable, you can just print it out directly like this. So I can and see we have sorted numbers, and when I run this, we have the sorted numbers. Next, we have round. Round function allows you to round up a number to a given precision in decimal place. So this is quite different from the rest, because the rest we are just writing the function name and then the name of the variable, and then it performs the function. In round, you have to specify how many decimal place you would like your round function to round the number to. So I say we have round, and then in the bracket we then have the name of the variable, and then we have a comma, and then the number of decimal places. So that's why it's quite different from the rest, because here we're just adding the name of the variable in the parentheses with the function. But here we have to specify that, I want this number to be rounded up in 2 decimal places and 3 decimal places and the rest. And when we run it, you see it's rounded up into 2 decimal places. If I change this to 3 and then I run it, it's rounded up into 3 decimal places. And finally, we have range. Range function generates a sequence of numbers, often in a loop. So the starting by default for range is 0, and it's increased by 1 by default, and it ends at a specific number. So whatever number you have in your bracket subtracted by 1 is then the endpoint. So when I run this, you see we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 4, 5. So this is how we'll use the range in Python. And then there are some practice questions for you to try out, write the program, put them in the comment section. And as usual, the Jupyter notebook will be available in my GitHub, link in the description. So these are examples of simple built-in functions There are so many others. There are so many others. If you know any other built-in function, you can also write it in the comments. But these are the 10 simplest and easiest built-in functions. Thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you were able to learn something from it. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And don't forget to also try the practice questions that are in the Jupyter notebook and put your solutions in the comment section. Let's build a community together. As always, the link to that notebook is in the description below. And I'll see you tomorrow.